video editing. So this is an area where we could have several classes on, but I do want to give you some pointers to get started, and then perhaps we can go into depth at a future webinar. Video editing software. It is getting so much easier now, and there are several products that are good ones to choose from. The ones that we typically use are Final Cut Pro or Adobe Premiere Pro. And in the end, because I want to talk about video style so you can see how it really doesn't matter which tool you choose. When we're thinking of oral history interviews and video editing, we want to keep it minimal. This is a historical record. There should not be a lot of like fancy flourishes, or like we're not making a documentary. The footage could be in a documentary later, but we are not currently making a documentary. So keep it minimal. Also, when we're doing the video editing, there's going to be the natural, like the start that's not the official start and the end that's not the official end, where buttons were pushed, etc. So there's clean cuts top and bottom that we typically do for our oral history interviews. And then if there's any other sort of pauses, any content that needs to be removed, somebody coughs, for example, or if they wanted to start their answer over again, if you do happen to take a bio break, like all of those things will need to be cut out. Next, the connection or disconnection of different audio and or video tracks from your different backup devices. So if something happened and your lavalier mic is staticky or wasn't great and you need to swap out for the other audio, having video software to help disconnect the video from the audio that was put together is helpful, and then subbing in the different either video, audio, or both in certain cases. That is probably the most used editing function that we do, aside from like cleaning the beginning and the end. And then just any other sort of polish. Usually for our oral history projects, there might be a title slide explaining who it is in the interview, what the interview is for, perhaps a date, and then there's usually an outro slide that just helps to signify, okay, that was the end, or like a thank you card, that kind of thing. So that's it. That's the editing that we do, and that is the editing that is like your core thing to focus on when you're thinking oral history interviews. So with that in mind, the minimalist style, you don't need a lot of flourishes or heavy duty software to help get that done. This particular screenshot is from Final Cut Pro. It's what we're using currently. And so you can see the import of files. Down here we have the actual video clip from one of our previous webinars. You can see the audio down here, the little dashes, the video, and the snapshots as it goes through. So we top and tail with the slides. If we wanted to disconnect the audio, it's a very easy like right click kind of function. We can cut out audio, add it in. We could insert different title cards. So there are some very basic, very easy things that we can do without having to touch or know what some of all of these other buttons are. If you love this kind of stuff, great, go for it. But also if you're intimidated by this kind of stuff, just know that you only need to learn like 3 things and you can do it. So final thing here, there are dozens of good software and dozens of good software tutorials available specifically on YouTube. So when you're searching for a particular function that you need to do, perhaps you're not sure on how to swap out the audio, for example, plug into the search the name of the software you are using and then the particular use or function that you're trying to do, and you will find dozens, if not hundreds, of different videos of people walking you through using that software, doing that specific action. So you don't need a training class for this. You really just need a few minutes with YouTube to help see a bit of a show and tell on the particular feature or issue you're having.